Alright, for this problem, we have a problem about buoyancy. Let's read the problem. A block of wood floats in water with 2 inches projecting above the water surface. When placed in glycerine of specific gravity of 1.35, the block projects 3 inches above the liquid surface, which is this one. We are asked to determine the specific gravity of the wood. Now, binigyan tayo ng dalawang scenario. Yung wood daw, we have a block of wood. Pag nilagay natin siya sa tubig, yung nakaangat na part or the part projecting above the water is 2 inches kapag sa H2O. And kapag naman sa glycerine, let's just call this glycerine. Pag nilagay natin sa glycerine, the projected surface above the glycerine is 3 inches. Now, given that, we are asked to determine the specific gravity of the wood. Let's solve. Alright. What are we given? We are given 2 inches and 3 inches. And we are also given the specific gravity of glycerine, which is, we all know that the specific gravity of H2O I equals 1, and the specific gravity of glycerine is equal to, the given in the problem is 1.35. So yan yung given natin. And with that given, we can solve for the specific gravity of wood. So let's start. How will we solve this? Let's first analyze the block when it is submerged in water. Alright? Kapag nakalutang siya sa tubig, let's just say at H2O, by taking, look, kung titingnan natin tong block na to, since nakalutang siya, it's in equilibrium. At para magkaroon ng equilibrium, the block has its weight and the fluid exerts a force which we call the buoyant force that makes the block float in water. So, taking the summation of the forces in the y direction or in the vertical direction, assuming pababa is positive, weight minus buoyant force is equal to 0. Now, putting the buoyant force on the other side, lalabas that our buoyant force should be equal to our weight in order to achieve equilibrium or para lumutang yung block. And we all know that buoyant force is equal to the density of the fluid times the gravitational acceleration and the volume displaced. Let's just say volume sub d. Or it is also equal to the specific weight of the fluid times the volume displaced. Alright. Now, using this relationship, let's plug this in. This should be gamma of the fluid. Since it's in water, lagay natin H2O and the volume displaced. And for the weight of the block, it is simply the specific weight of the block. Since it's wood, let's just say gamma sub W, tapos the volume of the block or the volume of the wooden block. Now, we have this equation. Now, with this equation, we can still break this down. We know that Sg of H2O, we know that the specific gravity is equal to the specific weight of our fluid over the specific weight of H2O, diba? From here, The specific weight of our fluid, since it's H2O, kaya nga siya equal sa 1 kasi pareho. But let's just write this down para makita natin yung cancellation of the variables. Let's put Sg of H2O times gamma of H2O times the volume displaced by the object. And then we have the specific gravity of glycerine and then the gamma of H2O times the volume of the wooden block. From here, our specific weight of water will cancel out. And we are left with the specific gravity of H2O times the volume displaced and then the specific gravity of glycerine and then the volume of the wooden block. Ayan. We are given the specific gravity of H2O and the specific gravity of glycerine. Right. We should, pwedeng hindi natin siya isulat kasi 1 lang. And we all know that the block has a uniform area. Although it's not given, it's indicated here in our diagram, magka-cancel lang din siya. So let's write. Specific gravity of H2O is 1. Sige, sulat na natin. 1, 2, and then the area. Volume, we all know that the volume is equal to area times another parameter for length, width, or height. For this situation, we could write height. Yeah, height. Okay. Our volume is equal to the area times the height. But we know what we need is this, the draft. In this case, this height is h minus 2 inches. This one. So we would write that down. Area times h minus 2. And then the Sg of glycerine is 1.35 times the volume of the wood. The volume of the wood is the total height times the area. Area times the total height. From here, this will cancel out. Oh, sorry. This should be Sg of the wood kasi it's indicated here. Dapat specific gravity ng object. So this should not be the case. Sg of the wood dapat to. Specific gravity of the wood. From here, the specific gravity of the wood is equal to h minus 2 all over h. That's the specific gravity of wood. But we don't have a value for h. So, we will use the other scenario para makakuha tayo ng another Sg of wood in terms of this scenario. And then, we will just equate it to get the value of h and then to get the value of our specific gravity. Again, I made a mistake earlier. Dapat ito ay Sg of the wood times the specific weight of water. Now, when the wooden block is in glycerine, taking the summation of forces in the vertical direction. This is also equal to 0 to achieve equilibrium, or para lumutang yung wood. It will also come up with the relationship that the buoyant force is equal to the weight of the wood. Again, the gamma of H2O times the volume displaced is equal to the gamma of wood times the volume of wood once again. Ganun lang ulit, parang katulad nitong isa. They're the same. From here, we will also come up with this relationship. The Sg of H2O, this should be the Sg of our fluid, which is glycerine. Gamma of glycerine. Magkaiba na sila ng fluid, pero they have the same wooden block. Now, we can write the Sg of glycerine times the specific weight of H2O times the volume displaced is equal to the specific weight of water, of the wood pala. This should be Sg of the wood times gamma of H2O times the volume of the wood. Alright. Again, we can see here, from here, that the gamma of H2O will just cancel out. We are given with the gamma or the specific gravity of glycerine, 1.35, which is 1.35. Let's just write it down. 1.35. Alright. And then from here, magkaiba na yung volume displaced natin kasi iba na yung height na na-project kapag nakalagay na yung wood natin sa glycerine. Kanina sa water, yung naka-project na height above the water surface is just 2 inches. Nung nilagay natin siya sa glycerine, the projected height of the block is 3 inches from the surface, from the glycerine surface. Yeah, tumaas siya. And we need this height, this part, the draft, when it's submerged in glycerine. So it's simply H minus 3. H minus 3. Yung taas na yan. And again, the area is uniform, so we can say that our volume displaced is area times the height minus 3 inches. Hindi ko na nilagay yung unit, but it's in inches. And then the Sg of the wood is what we're looking for, times the volume of the wood is simply the area times our H. And from here, cancel out lang ulit yung ating area since it's a uniform block. It has the same area all throughout, regardless kung saang fluid natin siya sinubmerge. And taking specific gravity of the wood from here, we will end up with the equation, the specific gravity of wood. Just divide that by height once again. We'll get 1.35 times H minus 3 all over, tumabingi. Ayan. H. May nakuha na tayong dalawang specific gravity of wood from two different scenarios, from two different fluids with two different lengths of projection from the surface of the fluid. Sa water, 2 inches yung nakaproject from the surface, and sa glycerine, 3 inches naman. 2 inches and 3 inches. And from that equation, from that scenarios, pwede nating i-equate yung specific gravity of wood, itong dalawa, kasi same lang sila dapat, because we used the same block. Now, equating the specific gravity of wood equate lang natin silang dalawa. We will end up with, ito muna una. This is h minus 2 over h. This is equal to 1.35 times h minus 3 all over h. From here, we have a linear equation with one unknown variable. Let's solve this linearly. Okay? Or you can just simply type it in your calculator and use shift solve. By using shift solve, we are left with the equation h minus 2 is equal to 1.35. Let's just distribute the 1.35. 1.35h minus 1.35 times 3 is 4.05h. 4.05h. Now, rearranging our equation, what will we have? Oh, this, wala na dapat tong h. Ayan. So, let's just subtract this here and then add that there. We will have 1.35 minus 1 is simply 0.35 h. Kung ayaw nyo mag-manipulate, you can simply use shift solve. And then, let's just add 4.05 sa kabila. 4.05 plus negative 2 is 2.05. And dividing both sides by 0.35, we will obtain the value of our h. Alright. 2.05 divided 0.35, we have 41. 41 over 7 inches. So that is the value of our h. Now that we got the value of our h, we can just plug it in to whatever equation we want. Pwede dito or pwede namang dito, but you must end up with the same answer. And let's just use this. This is much simpler. Okay, substituting h from to this equation, let's just copy this in the bottom. Okay, so substitute na lang natin yung h. From here, our h is 41 over 7 minus 2 all over 41 over 7. The inches will cancel out, so we will have a unitless number. If you type that in your calculator, 41 over 7 minus 2 over 41 over 7, you will end up with the answer 27 over 41, or in decimal form, this is equal to, let's just use 4 decimal places, 0.6585. 6585. So this is the specific gravity of wood. Let's just write it down here. The specific gravity of wood is 0.6585. Ayan, that is our final answer, mga kasama. Okay. This is a simple problem. Just requires you to have the full comprehension or understanding of the properties of the fluids, and then the formula for buoyant force, the specific gravity, and volume. So that's all for this problem. Our final answer is 0.6585.